Welcome to Questionable Fandom. I'm Alex.
And I'm Casey. Episode 24.
Yep.
We skip a week.
Yeah, we did miss a week. Our schedule just didn't line up.
I think
I don't think anyone...
I don't think we lost any listeners.
No.
I don't know. Still, though, you don't want to get it as a habit.
Yeah.
If need be.
No.
Man. I don't know. Do you have any stories just to kick it off?
Not really any long stories or anything. Made a bit past halfway through Fairy Tale.
God. I was going to say, what did I watch? I know I was watching Scooby-Doo, which is long.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not watching a show. I'm watching everything. It's my goal to watch everything they ever released in chronological order under the Scooby-Doo franchise. Whether I get all the way through, I don't know. But I kind of really want to.
I think you will.
Yeah.
It may just take you a while.
Well, I don't want to. I'm trying not to let it be my only show.
Right.
Because I'll burn myself out. Because it's literally 50 years.
Yeah.
I could already feel it. I watched the first series all the way through. No issues. Loved it. It's great. It actually gets better as it goes. They have better production. All that. Second series starts dragging. But again, they have guest stars. It's 40 minutes. They're long. But every now and again, you get great episodes. The third series, I was like 6 episodes in. I was just like, I don't want this to be bad. It's bad.
Right.
I actually would have probably stopped watching. I told you this when we weren't recording, but I fell asleep and it autoplayed, and I got up and it was playing like a good episode, and I was like, oh, okay. I just need to push through the rest of season 1. So I had like 12 episodes playing in the background while I was doing stuff for Star Wars to push through it before I got. I don't know what happened with. There's just one season. If you take all of them together, of the first 7 I watched, there's one of them that's just, and it's in the middle. It's not the last one. In the middle of those 7, there's one that's just gutter ball terrible, just wretched. I don't know what happened. I tried to look, but there's not like a documentary, lots of interviews or nothing. Just
maybe the writers changed, maybe a different director.
Yeah, I have no idea. I tried to look at the credits. I couldn't find any discernible difference, but I mean, it looks worse, it sounds worse, everything's less inspired. They got bad lines. I mean, some of the actors are still good. Like Casey Kasem is just one of the best.
I was gonna say it may have been something like higher up in whatever studio was paying for it.
Yeah.
Change.
That was the first year that they changed from CBS to ABC. They aired on CBS when they originally in 69 through 72, and then in 74 they changed and started airing in prime time on ABC.
Could simply been that.
Yeah, the first year at ABC is wretched, like just terrible.
May just be the network.
Yeah, the second and third years at ABC were good. Like. In fact, the third year of ABC has some of the more iconic villains again. Like, they came back and made some lasting episodes again. But
that's cool.
I mean, yeah, like some of the ones that made it into the live-action movie and stuff. Like, it's like, oh, this is where those are in this series? But it is my intention to go all the way there. I saw a video where a guy was breaking down the scalability of the franchise, which is not something I never thought of, because I don't think I've seen everything, because they did a lot of years of just doing DVD movies, and I'm not buying it. But it's all available on Verge. Like, I think it's all available. But at this point, if there's something that's not available, I'll buy that one thing.
Right.
I'll live. So the reason I didn't get Verge when it launched is because they didn't have everything. So I was like, if you're not gonna have everything, then I'm just gonna wait, because you're gonna put it all up. Like, they're gonna put it up. So
yeah.
Same thing, they're still missing a bunch of Flintstone stuff now, because they used to do the spin-off series. They have to roll new stuff out, though, so I get it.
Yeah, I mean, they gotta have to keep offering new stuff to keep people around.
I think I would just put everything out that they had digitized, and then just start a remaster and stuff, and do promotion. Yeah. I saw DC Universe started doing that a little bit. I mean, they have their own series, too, but they did, they just remastered Batman Beyond Season 1.
Right.
And they go, look, it's remastered, and it looks great. Like, it looks really good. And I thought, if I watch that, I'm gonna want to watch season 2 and 3, and you haven't remastered those yet, so I'm gonna just wait. I mean, I already paid for the service, so it's not like they're losing a customer.
Right.
It was just funny. They were like, go watch this, to, I guess, boost the streaming numbers to see if they want to remaster everything. And I go, you remastered one season of a 3-season series.
Takes money, man.
Yeah, but
and time.
Couldn't they have remastered like the movie or something? Like,
nah.
or like started with a two season series. I thought it was just good marketing tactic, but to me it wasn't gonna entrench me to watch it yet. In fact,
Right.
I was gonna watch Batman Beyond anyway. It was on a list, and then they remastered season 1. I go, well, now I can't watch it. You stopped me from watching it.
Well, I mean, you could. You just have to wait.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. That's more of a personal choice.
Anyway, I was watching this video about the scalability that Scooby-Doo, and I never thought about it, but in the original, all the stuff I've seen so far from the 70s, it's pretty much like they went around, they stopped some fools that dress up in costumes, they're doing either criminal acts. Sometimes I remember laughing. There was one episode where a guy, I think it's the Minor 49er episode. The Minor 49ers are fairly well known from that series, and like at the end, the dude's plot is that he runs around and that he doesn't like outwardly chase people or scare people. It's just like in the mines he had set up like these things to wail like ghost wails and stuff and act
Right.
like the town's haunted under the guise of he would, once everyone in the town had sold out, he would buy all the land and then the Minor 49er would disappear and then he would have all the land.
Right.
Right? And he was just trying to get the one last guy that had a hotel, but the kids came and stayed at the hotel, right?
Of course.
So at the end of the episode, after they figure it out, they go, oh, he was trying to essentially run a real estate scam, but not like he hurt anybody or did anything like illegal. To me, I was like, they go, well, he's going to learn his lesson in jail. And I thought, what's he going to jail for? Can I hear some charges? Like, I get he's kind of a dick, and he's running a sort of scam, but
I don't know. I'm sure there's something
I thought
that applies to that kind of stuff.
it's just like the way that they said it in the series was like prison or something. I was like, is he on a prison? But whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it was just the way that they said it. I was like, that's a little thin, just a little. Like in comparison to some of the other guys, some of the other villains are like bad. You know, like people that like rob jewelry or try to do counterfeiting or something like that. Like
Right.
some of them are like straight criminals.
Right.
And some later episodes they'll do something and like they'll figure out the mystery and then like one of the NPCs of the episode just goes, oh yeah, and I'm an FBI agent. Thanks for solving this case we've been on for a couple of years. You guys are going to jail. And I was like, yeah, okay. It's just like, okay. But later on, like, there's another series where they're kids. It's different.
I think I've seen some of that one.
Yeah, they're in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's actually good. I mean, everybody likes it too, just because it's pretty quirky and
Right.
it kind of. I like the idea that I haven't seen it in a long time, but they mentioned it. I like the idea that they did a kids version of it because they did a kids version of everything back in the day.
Yeah.
But that it was set in the 50s because the first episode of Scooby-Doo's in 69. So if they were kids from teenagers, it would be in the 50s, theoretically. So they
Okay.
changed like a lot of the scenery to be like a kid's wacky show, but the backdrops are 50s backdrops. Not that a kid would know that, but I just thought, that's kind of a cute idea. Good for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's one creative way to do it.
Sure. I mean, it didn't have to be set any time at all, but
Yeah, it didn't really matter, but
I thought it was kind of cool. And then later there's like a ghost series where there's real ghosts, and then they did a bunch of movies that are like Scooby-Doo and Arabian Nights, and then there's one where there's a cool movie where Shaggy gets turned into a werewolf and has to go to a monster car race that's yearly, where Dracula and Frankenstein and the werewolf and all those guys are real.
okay.
So they do a yearly race, and whoever wins like gets a wish, I think, or something. But they have to have all the Universal monsters to do the race every year. So the werewolf retires, so they have to make a new werewolf, and like for whatever reason they pick Shaggy.
Sure.
So like the plot of the movie is him being a werewolf trying to do a car race where they're trying to not let him win because if he wins he's gonna wish to not be a werewolf. It's fucking wacky and it has nothing to do with Scooby-Doo at all. But it's actually a pretty entertaining movie. So the video was on the concept of like they would put these characters in just weird situations,
Yeah.
but like it's always pretty good.
Right.
And it was just like the scalability of the series is pretty wild. Like just the concept. I guess they're just endearing or whatever. But I've actually never explained the plot of that movie, but saying it out loud, that is a fun.
Sounds interesting.
It's a cool movie, but like isn't that weird?
Yeah.
They have all kinds of weird.
Yeah. I mean, it's a strange show, so.
During the time when they weren't making series, some of the movies were very strange. There's a school one where it's all monsters going to school.
Right.
And for some reason, Shaggy and Scooby become like tutors and teachers and shit. Try to help them like go against another school or something. But again, they're not doing any. It's not a mystery movie at all. Like that's not it. And the rest of the people aren't there. There's no mystery machine or nothing.
Right.
It's just Scooby and Shaggy. I watched one before I started watching the series a while back called The Boo Brothers. And it's the fucking weirdest piece of media ever. It would never air today, ever in a million years. It's Scooby and Shaggy going to a house that Shaggy inherited from his dead uncle in the South, and it's on a plantation, and it's haunted by his Confederate uncle.
Yeah.
And there's a freaky Igor, what do they call him? A butler.
Okay.
But he's like Igor, but he's not Igor. He's got like some wacky name.
Yeah.
But he's like aggressively creepy and like mean because he wanted to inherit the house and the fortune, but obviously the dude's nephew inherits the house and the fortune. And there's like a super redneck neighbor that's always trying to shoot him because this girl has a crush on him. And then they call a pair of 3 ghost brothers to be the Ghostbusters for the ghosts in the house, while they're also trying to find a Confederate treasure that's somewhere on the land. But he's also getting chased by the boyfriend from the other plantation that's trying to kill him, like shooting at him and things like that.
Right.
But the Confederate ghost is trying to get him, and then the actual ghosts are like scared of ghosts, but they're trying to find the ghost. It's fucking acid trip wild. Like, it makes...
Sounds like it.
But again, I was like watching it, I was just like, this is cool, like it's got, it's just cool.
Yeah.
But I was like,
It's wacky.
who came up with this shit? Like,
Probably someone on an acid trip.
I have no idea. I don't have anything particularly big to talk about outside of that.
Yeah.
Just kind of like a small rant.
I mean, I've been watching Disenchantment, the 2nd season of it.
I watched some hot ones. I watched.
Yeah, I watched a couple. I think I've watched the 2 from this season.
I know I watched the first one because it had.
Macy Williams.
It
Was the first one? Yeah?
Ashton Kutcher was the first one.
Oh, okay. Maybe I haven't watched them all then.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one I
That's
saw was the Ashton Kutcher one first. Now I watched the Maisie Williams one yesterday.
Yeah.
That girl was weird as hell.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I got from that was like, I was like, this girl is just should not do media. Like,
Yeah.
The Ashton Kutcher one was really cool, but only because that dude is like so famous. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the crazy level famous where you can't like do anything. But it's always that show's cool weird because I was watching like some random episodes that were autoplaying. The gap in celebrity level is
Yeah, it's all
wide.
over the place.
It's wide. I mean, they book whoever they can book
Right.
because they can't go to anybody, and they're not gonna. I don't think they're paying for people's flights or nothing. I think they just get people who are in.
Actually, I think they travel. They'll go, like, if they have to somewhere
Okay.
to get with the person. But, I mean, I don't think they're going overseas or any of it.
Oh yeah. I mean, the
Because I do remember watching one where he was like, yeah, this set's mobile.
gotcha.
It's like, we'll go all over the place.
I know that they do like events.
Yeah.
Like for conventions. I know that they do that. But like there was one with I don't know how to pronounce this girl's name. Liza Koshy, I think. She's like an internet celebrity. She has like a show on YouTube, I think. I followed her on Instagram at one point. She used to do like funny videos with some dude, but she broke up with the dude and then she wasn't so funny no more, so I didn't follow her no more. But she's real quirky and she's one of those people that's YouTube famous where it's like there's no reason for her to be famous, but she is, so
Yeah.
whatever. But she's fun. It was just funny, like she was kind of like Maisie Williams when she's on the show and they're doing stuff and she's like, oh, I've seen every episode of this show. Like, she's like a YouTube person. She knows like all the YouTube things.
Right.
So like, she's like not the celebrity in the interview. He is. Sean is. Not her. It's just like, I don't think you're supposed to be interviewing people less famous than you. But
I mean, it's probably one of those we need X number of people for a season.
so like when they do the Graham thing, where they like take pictures of you and try to get you to describe them.
Yeah.
Like her best one was like she was at one point one of the interviewers on the red carpet for like some gala. Like that's the best thing she's got. You know what I mean? And like there's some picture where she was gonna interview Kim Kardashian and Kanye was with her and Kanye's doing like some just like bored face, like he won't engage with her and won't talk at all.
Right.
And they're like, it's kind of like, it was at one point kind of memeable famous because of his face. And it was like, he's like in a black t-shirt and jeans and tennis shoes. And of course, Kim Kardashian's in like some,
Yeah.
$100,000
She's
crazy
dressed in the
dress.
nines.
Yeah. And he's like in nothing. And and they're like, can you explain this? She's like, well, actually, believe it or not, because nobody caught it on camera or whatever. But like Kanye came up to me before that, just goes, don't ask me any questions. I'm here with my wife, and it's like a gala with her. She's got stuff going on, and like just ask her questions because it's her night.
Right.
Like I have to. She wanted me to come, but like I don't want my star to be over hers. I don't want you to ask me any questions about music. We're at a fashion gala. She's a fashion person. Just act like I'm not here. Like it's about my wife.
Yeah.
And she was like, he was actually really, really sweet. But you would never see it on camera. Like.
Well, I mean, that's a persona to keep.
Yeah. It was just funny that was the look that she was like, I wasn't going to ask him anything anyway, but it was just funny that was the look that he decided to adopt. It was just like a stone face, I don't want to fucking be here look.
Right.
And it was like, he was actually really sweet. Like, his reasoning was really good. You know what I mean? He didn't want to say anything that would upstage her or anything like that. But then it was like the Ashton Kutcher one, and it was like pictures of him doing like, obnoxiously wild shit. Like one where he's like jogging in LA with P. Diddy.
Right.
He's got like a whole backstory about it because him and P. Diddy are tight for some reason. They're just billionaires talking. It's whatever.
Sure.
And like that was a funny story where he's like texting P. Diddy because that's what you do, I guess, in the Hollywood Hills. And he's like, I'm about to go for a jog. And P. Diddy's like, all right, brother, run by my house. I'll join you on your jog. He's like, all right, tight. We're gonna do it. So they're jogging, and they jog about, I don't know, a quarter mile, and then there's like 50 paparazzi jogging with them.
Right.
And they're like, we don't bother with them. We'll just keep doing it. So, like, I don't know if you've ever seen Ashton Kutcher, but he's a fairly big, decently shaped guy. I don't know if you've ever seen P. Diddy. He's a pretty short, moderate shaped guy.
Right.
So they go like a mile or whatever. P. Diddy just starts slowing up, and he's like, hey man, you gotta slow up. Like, I'm worth double what you're worth, so I can't get them taking pictures of me not being able to keep up with you. So you gotta slow up and make it look like I'm not sucking air. Like,
yeah.
He was like, dude, I was just going for a jog. Like, you wanted to come with me.
Yeah.
It's like, these people. Ugh.
Gotta keep it real, man.
I know. I have so much time to listen to podcasts these days that I indulge in a little bit more celebrity culture than I ever wanted to.
Well.
I've been digging Two Bears, One Cave with Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer. I've now listened to all the episodes, and like they had something where, have you ever heard of Ari Shaffir? He's a stand-up comic, but he's not, I'd say, like C level. I mean, he's like well known in the West, but not well.
Yeah, he's regional.
Yeah, he's on a bunch of Rogan podcasts. It's like the biggest thing. I don't think he might have one Netflix stand-up or whatever. But he went to go do Boat's podcast with him, and he was mad because they do a Sober October challenge every year. There's like 4 or 5 of them that do it together.
Right.
And they used to compete, but then they realized that Joe Rogan is one of the competitors. So it's like, what are we gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, what are we gonna do? He's like a not world-class athlete because he's a little older, but compared to them, I mean, they're just like us. One's never woke out. You know what I mean? And like Ari Shaffir is like just a thin guy, so like if it's gonna be running or anything like that, like he's not in shape, but he's nowhere. Like his genetics just won't let him be out of shape.
Right.
So they stopped competing. They were just gonna do something casual this year, but he likes winning, so he got mad about it. So he went and did Boat's podcast. And think about this, because I come to your house to do this podcast.
Right.
He goes to Boat's house to do his podcast. And since he's fucking mad at him for not doing Sober October the right way, I shit you not, this is a real fucking story. Boat had to go to a therapist about it. Slips him a Molly when he goes to do something in his house while they were supposed to be recording their podcast.
Wow.
And doesn't tell him, and until afterwards, obviously.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Boat's like, once he figures it out, isn't high, is fucking furious.
Understandable.
Like, I just thought about that. Like, could you imagine me coming over here, we're just casually doing this or whatever, and you walk off, and I just slip you a fucking class 3 drug, a class 3 narcotic.
Yeah.
And, but it's worse because you're not married and you don't have kids like Bo does. So he's got like a 12-year-old and like a 16-year-old kid in the house. And they're like, "Are you a piece of shit?" They like did like a podcast with them. Like, "Are you a piece of shit?" And I didn't listen to the podcast, but apparently Ari was like, "No, man, you fucking deserved it. I'd do it again." I was
Hell.
Because I guess it's like his persona or whatever. I don't know a lot about the dude.
Right.
He's just like not apologetic. Like, I'm not apologetic, but I don't drug people.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I just don't know what to say to that.
I know. It turned into like a big deal.
Understandable.
Yeah, I felt bad for Bert. I really did. He was on his podcast. He has like a, I don't know if he's a therapist or just like a life coach or something. But he does like a lot of work with alcoholics, and they were talking to him for Sober October because a couple of them are not alcoholics, but
Yeah.
you're a traveling comedian, you drink it. Like, it's just
Right.
So he called him on the podcast and asked him, like, "Hey, what do you think about?" They asked him about something else, but then the other guy asked him about that Ari thing. He's like, "Yeah, he got drugged in his own house," and the dude on the phone was like, "That's illegal. That's highly illegal." And they're like, "Yeah, I'm really not happy about it." And he goes, I think I have to report that. Like, I know both of you, and I know both of you live, like, all that stuff. Like, I think I need to report that to the police." And he's like, "Don't be a fucking narc." And he's like, "Okay, well, what if I just come and, do you want me to do your podcast with you and we can talk it through?" He was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "When do you want me to come?" And he goes, "I don't really want people in my house right now." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's fair."
I wonder why.
Eventually, he said that Ari, like a couple weeks later, Ari sent an apology to his wife, not to him.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Anyway, that was just what I meant by, like, that's like a little bit of drama about like B-list celebrities, but I heard it. I thought it was kind of interesting, but I would have been, I thought I was, man, I get it. I get it. If I had kids and shit, I'd be very angry. Like, I don't know. Kudos to him for being open about it. You know, like just problems with his life or whatever. But dude, because they were doing, like, he already has like a flourishing thing of like, maybe I'm an alcoholic. Like, I don't know, because well, he drinks 11 months out of the year. They always do a Sober October. But like the thoughts that go through your head if you drink all the time stop for a month.
Right.
And it was like, he's trying to process all that, and then he figures out, like, 2 or 3 weeks in, where he's like, somebody told him that whenever you take Molly, like, whatever it's made of, like, NDA or some shit, like, I don't know the composition of that type of stuff. But when you take Molly, like, one of the key ingredients tells your body that you don't want alcohol. Like, it'll kill your craving for alcohol.
Okay.
So, like, part of the high, and it mellows you out, so, like, part of the high for partiers is to take it, and when you're mellow, force yourself to drink.
Right.
And it, like, gets you super fucked up. But since he took it, like, it was like the last thing he put in his body before Sober October or the first day of. And then he just stops drinking. But it also killed his craving to drink.
Right.
But he didn't know it. So, like, it's just like a really messed up few weeks, like, mentally, to try to get through it. It's hard to sleep when you drink yourself to sleep every night and stop drinking.
Yeah.
It's hard to do. It's like, I don't know. I was like, man, I feel for you, dude. Like, that's a fucked up situation to be in. You know, one of your best friends fucking drugged you because he thought it'd be funny.
Yeah. That was kind of fucked up.
It was a fun time. The only thing interesting that I had to say was that he, as a joke, they asked him, if you were going to do any drug, what would you do? Like, if you didn't do drugs, it's like cocaine, PCP, speed, something else.
Right.
And like Molly, they threw Molly in there because it's topical. And he was like, I don't know. You could probably do cocaine if you were like a level-headed guy and get away with it. It's not like particularly addictive. You can get away with that. Speed, maybe. It's not horrifically addictive. Depends on how strong your constitution is and your past and stuff like that.
Right.
They're like, stay away from PCP. No one needs to do that for any reason. There's no logical reason to do that. And he was like, I don't really know anything about Molly. And Tom goes, all right, well, in 16 days when Sober October is done, I think it's a good idea to start cocaine, right? And he's like, no. I love idiots talking to doctors. It's fun.
Yeah.
I'm done with that. What? So, do you want to talk about this idea to try a narrative?
We could. Because about the only other thing I could think to talk about is Star Wars, but...
We can talk about Star Wars real quick.
Wars game.
Yeah, we can talk about Star Wars. Because so we played Star Wars again. I mean, of course, we play every 2 weeks, but we missed an episode.
Right.
I actually like this game. It's pretty fun. I like the crew generally. I think everybody has a pretty good time.
Yeah.
I thought this session was weird because after you killed somebody, another group came looking for you for revenge.
Right.
But simply put, right?
Yeah.
So you have to do a boss fight. I don't have to, but did one.
It was do the boss fight where it's only the boss fight or run the risk of it them popping up
Yeah,
or
yeah,
in the middle of something else.
yeah. Do this boss fight with this Wookiee, and he's just way powerful, or at least tanky. I would say.
Yeah, he was tanky.
I-
And he kind of hit hard.
Yeah. But he didn't hit as hard as he was tanky. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like
The tanky was
yeah.
a bitch.
I was gonna say like on a scale of 1 to 10 from power, I would be like, he's probably like a 7. Like he hits good, but not
Right.
crazy. But he can get you good. But like tankiness is like 10. I mean, so
Yeah, we were doing like 10 damage. Or the weapons do 10 damage and it's like 1.
yeah, 1, 2
What the
to
hell?
chip him down. So that fight took forever.
Right.
Like a long time. I don't know exactly how
Several
long,
hours.
but like multiple hours. Essentially fighting like one guy.
Yeah, that was like 90% of what we did.
Yeah. And I was like, at one point, I never feel like it was dragging because it was. I like their system. It's fairly narrative based, and your theater of mind can swirl a little bit.
Right.
But I was like, man, this is a long fight, and I know some people just don't dig combat that's that long. And
I had fun with it.
but I was just like, in my mind, I was like, man, I wonder if this is like killing anybody. You know what I mean? Like of them just I wonder if anybody's sitting here going, this is taking forever. And like Robert was like, no, this is awesome. This is the best thing ever. Like everybody really loved it. And I was like,
I was having fun.
yeah. Well, it's hard to not have fun with your character, but
And my hubris did not go down any from that whole situation.
yeah,
Because who's alive at the end of it? I am.
dude,
Never mind the fact I'm missing my leg again.
dude.
I'm lame. And a few injuries I don't remember.
Dude, your character should be dead. Like, there's no plausible reason he should.
Oh yeah, I was bleeding out at one point.
Yeah, there's no plausible reason. There's no plausible reason anyone's alive.
I did my job.
But you especially.
I was expecting to die. I was ready for it.
That was just pure luck that the doctor never got hurt bad enough to not help people.
Yeah.
That was
I was
literally-
actually beginning to go through ideas like, what do I want the next character to be? Not someone who gets up in people's faces. Kind of done with that.
I like your guy.
Oh, I do too.
I like the idea of just brawly attacking people and taking all the hits.
I mean, I did what I was designed for.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It reminds me of like a guy like that's in pro wrestling, and let's say he's like a champion. He's just winning like all the time.
Right.
Like even if he loses a little bit, he never loses his title. Right? His title being your life in this instance.
Yeah.
And it's like hard fought victory, and like obviously the longer it goes, the more people are gonna want to see it because the longer it goes, and the better it has to be, right? So the tougher the fights have to get, the more you have to push yourself to survive, and you know every time you get so close and you come back, makes the next one more special. But you're gonna have to lose the belt, your life at some point.
Right.
At this
It's
level,
gonna happen.
at this level of being pushed.
Yeah, I was pushed myself. I was actually one point on the brink of death if the doctor didn't come in and save me.
Yeah, the doctor. I mean, she'd get it once. If she got hurt, it'd be it. Lots of stim packs were used. Lots of just. By the end, this is like the most brutal fight you've ever done. I don't know if it's the best or even maybe the hardest, but
I just think it was the hardest just because we were hitting him with our strongest weapon and it was just a scratch. Yeah.
I just meant the brutality by the end where everyone's like blinded and lame and drooling and bleeding, and he's broken his axe and other axes and guns, and he's beating people. Like at one point he took the gank, and while he was on the ground it just stomped on his head. Like stomped him and no, I can't remember when he got blinded. I think it was when he got stomped.
I think so.
I think he stomped him blind. It's just like
I just remember
brutality.
After a few rounds, I was like, man, I gotta do something. That's what caused me to start bleeding out. So when I picked up my gun to shoot him one time.
It was brutal. It's sad to lose the NPC character.
Yeah.
Both of them.
It's so sad.
I mean, only one of them. Vito died in one shot.
Yeah.
He had eight hits. One Wookiee just slashed him one time.
I was wondering what they were doing when they snuck out.
They were whose obligation was triggered for the episode.
Was it?
Yeah, it's just their prerogative to get revenge if they could.
So sad.
I mean, Tito ended up being a good help.
Yeah.
Towards the end. Even I think he might have done like 3 or 4 damage. Or I think he did a little damage and maybe did one more of the crits, so it cost him his life. But
yeah, so sad.
Can't say that he didn't die in vain though.
No.
I mean that he did die in vain. He didn't. He certainly helped.
Yeah.
But I thought it was good, but man, I was like talking about a brutal fight where people's guns were cut up, people have cut up, people have lost limbs, multiple people lost multiple limbs.
Right.
And the guy that you fought was like essentially Frankenstein. I mean,
God.
cut him up, blinded him, lamed him, broke his sword, killed his brothers, beat him until he was literally mauling a guy on the ground and he couldn't get up. And had to just gangland him.
Yeah.
Just put the gun in his mouth. Just brutality.
Oh yeah. And the fight's not over. We just had to call it there.
I haven't decided if the fight's not over yet. No.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not going to be doing much for probably the next session.
Yeah. I kind of thought, on the drive home, I thought, maybe they just want to take you. Like, instead of trying to kill.
Yeah.
There's a, give an insight, it's a group of 7 people. And they're, well, it's actually.
Core 7.
Yeah, there's core 7. There's actually several. But not like a whole lot more.
The way it seems like each one had its own little crew
I think
that they ran with.
I have a set number. I think it was around 20.
Okay.
But there's 7 guys that are shared, and each of the 7 members is ranked. So 7, 6, 5.
Right.
1 being the lowest, 7 being the highest. So anytime that they do something, they have to vote on it. And the way I structured it was that when they do a vote, when they do a meeting, they do 3 votes. They'll just vote on 3 things because they figure we're big enough to do 3 things.
Right.
And when you vote on something, each of the 7 members get to vote. All the other people don't get to vote. They're just calling in when we need them.
Right.
And number 7 gets his vote is worth 7 points.
Okay.
7 votes. He doesn't get 7 votes, but his 1 vote is worth 7.
Yeah.
And then 6 and then 5. So
Right.
it's a total of 28. You can get a tie. It's almost impossible.
Highly unlikely.
There were no ties in the 3. So they voted on 3 things. One of them was to go after the Pirate Queen. One of them was to go after your crew. And one of them I know was a thing.
Right.
And the 3rd thing did not get doing it right now, but it'll stay on the ballot. The other 2 they both did. And they succeeded in the Pirate Queen adventure. They sort of on you. It depends on your outlook.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of questionable on us, but.
But the 3rd thing that's still on the ballot, they could really use your crew for. So I think that we'll try to.
Right.
Your face. But it would have to pass over. But they put one of you on the board.
And well, let's face it, 2 of us are down for several weeks, in the very least.
You probably for sure. One.
The gank's just as bad.
Yeah. But they need another.
Actually, the gank's worse.
Yeah. They need another true member though.
Haven't we killed 2? Or have they already replaced one?
They already replaced.
Yeah.
In fact, there's actually a good place, the one you just killed now. That I think the idea that I was running with is that it's a hut. They have an affiliation with a hut.
Right.
And he's a good partner if we want him.
On the council. Right.
Because he's a good partner, but same reason they wanted to get rid of the Wookiee. He's very useful. Like that Wookiee, super useful.
Right.
If you just want to go kill some people.
Yeah, he did it. I can see where he would be highly useful.
But it was his level of bloodlust is not indicative to an organization's cause, right?
Right.
And he was high. I mean, he was, I think, 5. So it was
Oh, damn.
I was just like, yeah, I mean, well, and his brother was 4.
Right.
So that's 9 out of 28. That's a lot of votes for a passion vote every time.
Right.
And I was just like, well, let's wrap these guys out. I mean, at some point, they're just as useful as they could be, or are.
Yeah, they're a detriment to the organization.
At least the growth, or the growth. I mean,
right.
The sense of going forward and actually trying to accomplish things. Because they're going to lay out a vote, right? They're going to lay out 3 subjects, and at least one of those is going to involve that.
Right.
So, that one, they're always going to vote for that one. You know what I mean? It's like playing Cards Against Humanity with people you know, where you're like, I know what answer is best, but I know what answer you're going to find funniest, sort of deal. So sometimes I think they would. So just the idea that you would have to structure votes around 2 of the top 4 guys, you're just like, let's just not. Like, let's just structure votes logically. An ongoing story for sure. Fun though. I like those
I enjoyed
guys.
it.
I like that concept. I like that fight. I like your crew generally.
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Did not humble me.
Dude, if you win every time, I mean, of course you do.
Exactly.
As long as you consider winning, not die.
I did my job perfectly in my mind. Almost perfectly. There was one hiccup of the gank going down, but
Yeah,
and Tito.
dying. But different.
I'm not gonna take Vito as a hit because he snuck off. He was doing his own thing.
Yeah, I mean,
That's not on me.
yeah, I mean, when you go out by yourself, it's like,
Yeah, you can't take your responsibility for yourself.
yeah.
But Tito, he came in, so his death's kind of on me.
I don't know. He came in with 2 crits.
Oh yeah,
He came in over his threshold,
he came in fucked up, but he still died on my watch.
I suppose. Anyway, so you had an idea for I don't think a narrative base. I don't think you want to do every episode the same narrative, but
I mean, I was kind of thinking it could be like over the course of X number of episodes, we kind of build like a world or a universe or something. Like we could do like a fantasy world, kind of like that when we had the idea for the game on RPG Maker,
yeah,
where we had like the general structure
yeah.
on how stuff worked.
I like the what we have left. We got the time.
I don't think we can go over just constant.
Well, I was gonna say I actually have an idea I pitched to you.
Oh, okay.
We don't have to go into it or nothing, but it was just an idea I haven't actually pitched to you. So it was an idea I had for.
We'll check it real quick. Another benefit to doing this is we can record episodes ahead of time
Yeah.
because we don't have to be doing stuff for it.
Yeah,
So we can actually build a small backlog. So like last week,
Yeah,
where our schedule just didn't mesh.
yeah. There was an idea for a world I had, I don't know, a month or so ago, or more, 2 months ago maybe, this year. And when I think about it as either a manga or an anime, or maybe a comic, but not, I feel like it would be difficult to be just written, like it would have to have a visual aspect.
Right.
But it's called The Eighth Miracle.
Okay.
So the hard thing about it is that it doesn't take place on Earth. It doesn't take place on Earth Light or, you know what I mean, like Earth adjacent. It
Right.
takes place in a world that's like completely unique.
Yeah.
So this world is, I don't have a name for it, but I don't think they can name it. So each person is born, they're not humans, but they're humanoid just for the sake of, if you were going to let somebody draw it, I'm not going to make them just create some shit, just for the sake of easiness. They're humanoid. And there's male, female. But this world doesn't really have any other creatures outside of the humanoids. And each person is born with an innate amount of power. But not, power is just the word I use.
Okay.
That doesn't necessarily mean that they are powerful or
They have some kind of gift. Super.
not even that.
Okay.
It's just that the life force of this species, every person's born with.
Okay.
So assume that every single person's born with a life force of 10. Like that's just, say if you had to put a number to it, every single person's born with 10.
Okay.
And as you live, you're going to use it. Whether a
Right.
little bit or a lot of it, depends on who you are, what you do. Now let's say some people are born with a gift of some nature, and they're going to use more of it.
Right.
The idea is that there will be people with gifts. So what happened as the world continues on, as people live for thousands of years and die off. So when you die, whatever energy you haven't used doesn't disappear. It just permeates the atmosphere.
All right.
So over thousands of years, right, all of the power that people had died with that permeates the atmosphere has made the entire atmosphere of this world coated in it, right? So now when people are born, everyone has an ability.
Okay.
Everybody always did, but there wasn't enough power to use it. You see what I'm saying? So now that we've moved so far, everyone has got an ability of some sort just because, not necessarily, now your ability might be you can change your eyes when you blink or something like that. Like,
Right.
It doesn't have to be crazy, but some people can be born with, obviously, like Outlander.
Yeah, it's like 0.01% or something.
Right.
Some stupidly small.
Yeah, now my idea is less like a Bleach or Naruto or something where people just have like weird anime powers.
Right.
Like this has gotta be genetic on some level, so like maybe you could change your density or use energy or create weather or some shit like that, or have hardened skin, but you can't like touch people and make them double their weight or make energy horses or some shit like that. Like,
Right.
there has to be some sense of this could physically happen with this species.
Somewhat plausible.
Yeah. So as the second bit of everyone getting power is that the atmosphere is also permeated in this volatile, no one can understand it energy source, right?
Right.
So it's made the world completely volatile itself. Like the atmosphere is volatile, the environment's volatile. So imagine you're standing in one place and it's raining. Literally in like 5 hours, it could be hailing, thunderstorm. There could be a sandstorm in 4 hours. Like it's completely
chaotic,
no nonsense. The precipitation and land masses can move at any particular time.
Right. You could like wake up in the morning, 90 degrees. Yeah. By lunchtime, during a blizzard.
Exactly. Like there's no rules, right?
Right.
I tried to explain to somebody and they're like, well, how would that work? I was like, it's a fucking fantasy world, man.
Magic.
Like
magic.
Well, no, you just can't think about it in the constraints of like a normal.
It defies.
Right, it doesn't exist in our world, right?
Yeah,
it's made up.
So, that's the whole point.
So the idea is that over the course of the time that this weather got bad, but people got powerful, the entire species is nomadic. Right. I mean, you just can't. Like, you can't stay in one place. It's not physically possible. So you can try to follow weather. That could work to an extent. You can try to hang out somewhere and just try to build defenses for all different things. But again, even if you lived 400 years, you know what I mean? Like, even if your village lasted that long, one day it's literally just going to get blown up by something. Or the earth's just going to, the ground's just going to...
There's just going to be a sinkhole.
Yeah, something like that.
A massive sinkhole. And
there was, for a long time, while people were getting powerful, but the environment was getting more volatile, there was no way to create a civilization.
Right.
So what a miracle is, it's called the eighth miracle. What a miracle is no one can explain it, no one knows how it happened. But some amount of people were together at some point, and whatever combination of their abilities happened, whatever thing they had created this bubble.
Okay.
And it's very large. The first one's the biggest one. There are 7. It's the eighth miracle. But a miracle is this large bubble.
Just something that kind of stabilizes a world.
So it stabilizes in the contents of this bubble.
Right.
The catch is the people that created the miracle lost all their power.
Okay.
But in the bubble, you can live.
Yeah.
Without the power. But if you go into it with power, it will sap it from you. The bubble itself will sap it.
Okay.
So on the inside of this bubble, of this miracle, you can live normally. You could live there. I mean, you have to irrigation and things like that. Like, it's still like mass, and people had to learn how to use it because no one had ever used it.
Right.
But
it's basic human civilization at that point.
Yeah, under the constraints that you can...
it can only go so far.
Yeah, I mean, so the idea is that over the years, I mean, there's, on the inside, it's built to an extent, but again, you can't, like, just mine wood somewhere. Right. I mean, you can go out and try to find a forest that has lived a little while, but there's no, there's no Himalayas, but there's no, what's the big one? Like
rainforest.
There's no rainforest because there's no way that one could get that tall.
Right.
There's no way that could ever develop that much. So they're built to however they can, but there have to be an amount of people just on the very outside of the bubble also living in their own civilizations. They're just trying to brave the weather season by season, but there have to be some people with powers to either defend the place or go get shit.
Okay.
Like, so, by the time that people had been born and lived their entire lives in the bubble, like, to step out is a task.
Yeah.
And like I said, so there were 7, after the first one, there were several more, second and third and fourth and fifth. But each one is smaller than the first.
Right.
And each one is a different age, obviously. So that's pretty much where it would pick up, is that there were 7, and all the things you can think of. Somebody asked me, like, wouldn't there just be constant war? I was like, nah, not in this world. There's not enough people for it to matter. There are enough people that don't want to give up power, so they don't want to live in these places. And there are enough people that are born that go, this is boring, or just, I want to learn, or I want to experience the outside, and they'll just go out and do whatever.
Right.
There's enough people and there's enough miracles for it to taper off the demand a little bit. There's not constant war. There's going to be bandits and things of that nature.
People are going to be assholes.
Yeah. So where it was going to pick up was that, and one of the allures of the series is that no one knows how to make miracles. Like, they never figured it out.
Right.
No one that ever made one ever told anybody.
It can't be reliably recreated.
Well, they just literally have no idea.
Right.
Like, outside the fact that it takes multiple people, they determine that. But no one ever told and no one ever knows why they didn't tell. And no one's ever been able to duplicate it and tell anybody else. And all of them sort of happen far enough apart and they're different sizes. So
yeah.
Anyway, so one day, and of course you're gonna get, there's not racism because they're all the same race, but there's a definite amount of classism.
Right.
There's a definite amount of, if you were from the fifth miracle and you checked to the first, they would treat you like garbage.
Okay.
Because it's just like, dude, you know, like for whatever reason, that's just how people are gonna be. Some people, so some people, like if you were an emissary, like from the government, and you go to like somebody that is in the government of the first miracle, they're gonna be like, this guy, you know what I mean? Like, what's he think he is? Like he can talk to us, like he knows, you know, like we're the trendsetters, dude. You know, we got the most land, you're copying us, right? And they are, but you know. So the story takes place where at some point a few decades ago, not that long, 50 or 60 years, the first miracle ceased to exist. Like someone destroyed it.
Okay.
That was the other allure of no one knows how to make a miracle, but no one had ever destroyed one. Everyone had tried, no one knows how. Mostly because you can't assault one because once you go on the side of the battlefield, you lose your power.
Right.
Fairly quickly, like within a few hours. I mean, you could have a few hours siege. Come on. So someone destroys the first miracle. No one knows how, and they're all dead. So no one like told them who did it or who did it.
Right.
And again, after like a year, I mean, the environment's folded over.
Right.
Like people know about where it was, and of course, their lingering effect on society exists. But it made everyone even. Like, it just changed the entire dynamic of the world because, A, it was like, we're safe in here, nothing else. And then it goes, oh, well, one just disappeared. You know, like, the biggest one ceased to exist. And we don't know how, we don't know why. So someone attacks the second one, and I'm trying to think of the essence. Someone attacks the second one, but it's thwarted. They stop them, they kill them. But it was actually a pretty hard fought battle.
Right.
And they attacked the third one and destroyed it. So they lost the first and the third.
Okay.
Within a decade or so of each other.
Yeah.
So then everyone's on super high, and no one attacks the fourth, but they attack the fifth. They skip the fourth in the order. And when they attack the fifth, they are thwarted.
Right.
But now there's just 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So when it picks up, the idea is that the people that would make decisions in government, or people that have any sort of power, decide it's probably time for an eighth miracle. Like, they don't know how to do it, but it's time to make an eighth miracle. Right?
Right.
That being the sort of One Piece-like journey for whoever your protagonists are.
Okay.
Like, some kids from here.
Someone gets tasked of go find the people that can help you make the eighth miracle.
Yeah. Like, I had an envision that it would be 2 sets of characters where one set is kids. It's pretty much, hey, look, there's a kid that's, a grandson of, like, the leader of, say, the second miracle or something. Like, he's connected, but he's a young kid. And it's like, okay, here's some twins that have powers that'll escort you from place to place to try to learn about the world and find how to make an eighth miracle.
Right.
Just on the base of, like, it's half of go do your journey, and then it's half of, like, if you figure out how to do that shit, like, we're gonna make a lot of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the idea at this point of an eighth miracle is super profitable. And before, all of them were completely independent. It wasn't like the people from the fifth made the seventh or whatever. They had all just sprouted up independently as miracles. There's no one had ever manufactured one. So that's their idea. And then there's another team that's going to be older, like that, people that braved the world for several years.
Yeah.
And they're tasked with finding the guy that had destroyed the third miracle. If you find the guy that destroyed one, maybe he has insight on how to make one.
Right.
Or at least if you had insight on how to destroy one, you have insight on what they are.
Yeah, you may be able to figure out how to make it.
Yeah. So it's more like, the kids are more, let's explore the world, let's get to know all the different cultures, let's travel.
Right.
And they're, certainly more optimistic. And the older team is more like, do more action, more history-based. They already know a lot of people. It's much more dangerous sort of deal. That's all I got for the pitch and stuff. But I thought it was a cool idea.
Yeah.
It's something I've toyed with a little bit here and there.
I mean, it's kind of cool.
I don't have I couldn't tell you any farther than that. I never figured out how to make a miracle. I never figured out who's going to make the eighth or anything like that. But just that the guy that, I did kind of think that the guy that destroyed the first did it with a group of people who individually tried to destroy the other ones in order.
Right.
The guy who destroyed the third being the only one that did it again by himself. and live. Of course, no one did. No, he did it himself, but rumors, things
Right.
of that nature. People were paying a lot more attention after the first one. So I've only done a little bit to about that point where it's like, there's obviously gonna be some people that go the tragedy of the first or whatever, right? And then there are gonna be some people, especially from the second, that just go the guys that land on shit. That's like,
Yeah. They got what was coming to them.
yeah. Come on, guys. I was like the dichotomy of them going, look, the first were shitheads. They shit on everybody. They were elitist.
Yeah.
Fuck them. They weren't prepared. They had big heads. We stayed off our attack. And at the same time, that same complaint, like the seventh miracle would ask them for something, they'd go, the fucking seventh miracle wants something from us. Can you believe that, guys?
Right.
Fuck those guys. Yeah, like it's a different generation, to them. But they would have been tight with like the third or the fourth for whatever reason. It was like once you get down there and farther away, they're just like, whatever. You're the smallest place. If you can't figure it out,
Right. They were like, oh, you and your 5 friends can't figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. And I haven't come up with like sizes or anything yet either. But like how small the smallest one is.
Right.
The biggest one would have had to been big enough to create, a civilization to sort it. So I don't know if that's the size of the state or that's the size of what that's the size of, but
Yeah.
it can't be too big that you can't travel it. But
I don't know. I mean, you could even do something like about the size of our county. It's huge
yeah,
amount of land.
yeah, it would probably be more like that. It would probably be like the size of
Yeah. Because you do like that size, and then you just have like one of the smaller suburbs as the actual like city.
Yeah. My idea of the smallest, the seventh, the smallest would have to be like hundreds of people,
Right.
not even thousands.
Right.
And again, the tape. So you have to push like a really complex idea of what the eighth miracle is or even would be, because it's like if they get smaller every time, do you even want to make one? Like, is it worth it at this point? Because no one respects the seventh, so why would you want to waste time and effort on an eighth? But there would have to be a class of people that would go, we haven't made one since the first one away. Like, would the next one be the next first?
Right.
Or something like there has to be a fairly complex mythos of what people would believe. Even if it was 50 years ago, there's got to be some people that just go, the first was a legend.
Yeah. There would be some that don't believe in the first, or probably most of their miracles.
Yeah.
But there'd probably also be the ones that would probably believe like the eighth is going to be
the
one that fixes the world.
Yeah, the one, right.
Yeah, it's going to encompass a whole world somehow.
Yeah. There's no prophecy.
And stabilize.
Yeah, there's no prophecy or anything like that. I'm not using that as a story correction or anything. But you have to just play on the people's theater of mind.
Yeah, I was going to say. But you're going to have those people. It's like, oh, this is going to be the one that fixes the whole world.
Yeah.
We're going to be able to go back to the way life used to be.
Yeah. Or could be. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be a radical optimist and radical pessimist.
Yeah.
The seventh only holds like 700 people. Like,
it's like, why go through the effort?
Yeah. Like,
it's not worth it.
Yeah. And then, again, like I said, like the eighth, it's going to be the biggest one. Like,
yeah.
There's just literally no proof of either.
Right.
At all. You know what I mean? So.
I mean, you could even actually do where like 6 and 7 are more or less the same size.
Maybe, yeah.
But there is a size difference, but it's not enough to be worth noting.
And they'll have to be I don't want to even say antagonists, because I don't necessarily want there to just be groups of evil people
that
are in opposition to the heroes of the story. But there have to be people that say, we should make an eighth miracle. There are going to be multiple people looking for a miracle all the time.
Right.
But there has to be a sort of, like the religious cult. It's like, it's going to be the greatest thing ever, fix the world. Then there have to be people that go, well, we need to do it just because we lost 2. We have to make another one, like for our race,
Right.
For everybody. And there just have to be people that are like, look, they destroyed 2. If they destroy our miracle, or like it gets in danger, like we shouldn't make it 8th, just not tell anybody. You know what I mean? Like we'll just go.
Fall back.
Yeah, or something like that. Or just we won't even tell you. Even if it's small, like there's going to be a contingent of people that go, fuck, if it helps 6 people, I just look there. Like,
yeah.
And like just not tell anyone ever.
I mean, you could actually have an antagonist.
No, I'm not saying that there won't be.
Yeah, well, I was just saying like whoever destroyed the first one, like whoever led that operation, still out there somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's trying to Like he's thinking if he destroys all the miracles or something, like it could fix a world. Is his belief.
Yeah, no, the idea was that the guy that they actually ended up finding that had destroyed the third
Right.
was there for the first, but he's not. There is a guy like that maybe that goes, well, if we destroy them all in order, like something fucking wild happens. I don't know what it is yet, but yeah, whatever. And that guy who ended up actually destroying another miracle on his own isn't that guy. Like, it's not the same guy that's evil. And he might have some other reason. There might be a reason to destroy them that could be pragmatically good, but again, they could just be lost. You know, he could have just been lost and go, at this point, like, I'm not destroying anymore or anything like that.
Right.
And there has to be some narrative reason to skip the fourth, or maybe there was just a missed time. Like, maybe he attacked the fifth without knowing that someone had already not attacked the fourth. Like, some sequencing issue, and then it's like, well, if you destroyed the, you know what I mean? Like, you...
Or it may just be he skipped a fourth because it's like, oh, fifth won't see it coming.
Yeah, or something like that. I mean, or
he's just trying to destroy them.
Yeah, or maybe he's like the anti-hero where since the guy that tried the second it didn't happen, but he did get the third, it ruins the first guy's idea of doing an order.
Right.
Where it's like, why'd you destroy the third? It's like, it's my job. You know what I mean? And it's like,
yeah.
But we didn't get the second. He's like, that's not my problem. No, we don't have cell phones.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like the idea that they're traversing the wilderness to talk to people is like difficult.
Yeah.
It would have been a thing literally where they got together to do the first and go, look, in 5 years, you do the second. In 6 years, you do the third. In 7 years, you do, you know what I mean? Because that's like that's the only thing we got.
Yeah.
And like, we're just going to put our trust in you. And if it works, it works. But if it don't, like, what are we going to do about it? Anyway, it's an idea.
Yeah.
An idea I had. Something to work on. That's all I got, though.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're done for this week.
Yeah, I can't think of anything to add at this point.
Okay. Well, we're going to be done for this week, then. You can get us on Facebook at Questionable Fandom Podcast. We're on Instagram at Questionable Fandom. We have a Patreon under Questionable Fandom. And there is a email, right? Email.
Yeah.
qf.mailbag@gmail.com for any questions or comments. Again, I always love feedback on episode ideas or like the concept we pitched today. We've thought about doing some video game streaming or something, or video content, but we haven't had the demand to go through the effort. So
Yep.
That's gonna be it for us this week.